intellect, favorable connections, and the journey of building a brand. I came to see the master, carrying a great question in my heart. Master, how does one build a truly sustainable and enduring brand? The master smiled gently and said unhurriedly, "My child, to answer this question, you must clearly understand the law of cause and condition, cause and effect. The cause is the foundation, the condition is the bridge, and the effect is the result of all actions. Human beings are the favorable conditions for everything, and intellect is the cause. A brand is not just what you create, but a sustainable value built from the most core elements." I felt enlightened and wished for the master to guide me deeper. "Then what role does intellect play in building a brand, master?" The master nodded, saying, "Intellect is the cause of a business. It is the root that creates differentiation. Many companies start with tools and facilities, but they do not last. For example, have you noticed Apple? When Steve Jobs founded Apple, he started with his intellect, breakthrough technological ideas that could change lives. Products like the iPhone and iPad are not merely devices, they are symbols of intellect and creativity. A business that starts from intellect, from breakthrough ideas and exclusive formulas, will endure because the value of intellect is never lost." To help me understand more clearly, the master wrote as he explained. "You see, a sustainable business must develop in this specific order. 1. Intellect is the root. Just as Microsoft built an intellectual brand around software, they created value from operating systems that the whole world still uses today. 2. People use intellect to build. Like Google, they attract top talents worldwide to develop breakthrough solutions. 3. Technology is the tool that helps intellect spread. Netflix doesn't just own content, they use technology to deliver that content to millions of users globally. 4. Tools and facilities support the growth. Amazon's grand headquarters or their global shipping ecosystem is the final step to consolidate the brand." The master looked at me, emphasizing, "Remember, if you reverse this order and start with tools or facilities, the business will not be able to stand firm when facing crises." I continued asking, "Master, then what role do people play in building a brand?" The master smiled. "People are the favorable conditions of a brand. A business cannot grow strong without people sharing the same values and vision. For example, when Elon Musk built Tesla, he did not do it alone. He attracted top engineers in electric vehicles and renewable energy. Those people were the favorable conditions that helped Tesla become a symbol of innovation. But remember, human conditions come from humans. Every favorable connection you have in life stems from how you build relationships with a mindset of inner peace, tolerance, and appreciation and gratitude." I wondered, "Master, how do I create favorable connections in business?" The master explained, "You need to understand that favorable connections do not just lie in products or services, but in how you build your team and community. Look at Starbucks. They don't just sell coffee, they create a community where people feel valued and belong. Remember that when people enter a business, they don't just bring intellect, they also create culture, value, and cohesion. A business that considers intellect as its focal point will not worry about losing talent because the intellect has already been transformed into a business's asset." I felt the profundity in the master's words, but one thing remains unclear. "Master, how do I position the focal point in my brand?" The master emphasized, "The focal point of a brand is exactly what you want to leave behind long term. For example, Nike positioned their brand not just as shoes, but as the inspiration for humans to conquer their own limits. Position intellect and people as the focal point, because they are the foundation. Technology and tools are the means for intellect and people to develop. But be careful. Do not focus solely on people while forgetting to build intellect. When talents leave, the business will lose its value. Let the intellect stay. Turn it into a corporate asset so that whoever comes or goes will not diminish the core value. My child, on the journey of building a brand, always remember, intellect is the cause of a business. It is the root that creates differentiation and endurance. People are the favorable conditions of a brand. The people walking alongside you will be the bridge that help you go further. Start with intellect, attract the right people, and together with them create the technology and ecosystem. When you have a good cause and favorable conditions, the desired effect, qua, will naturally come, not just in business, but in all life.